All right, we want to look at another story that we've been watching that just broke in the last few moments. It has to do with Draftkings, which is now the target of a Hindenburg short sell recommendation. Hindenburg, of course, the firm that has been targeting a number of different companies from Nikola to Lordstown, which we've been talking a lot about. Draftkings shares are down nearly 10%. And effectively, the report, which admittedly I have not had a chance to go through the whole thing yet, just got it in my inbox as the show was beginning, but basically says that the company is hiding black market operations. And when it says black market operations, it's essentially talking about enabling gambling in places where it's not allowed yet legally, but also it talks about organized crime and money laundering in here. So some pretty acute accusations. We're waiting to get some kind of commentary from the company to see what the reaction is. But it should be interesting here, you guys. I mean, obviously, the reaction amongst other companies that this firm has targeted, a lot of their accusations have proven to be true, not universally and not in every case, but it's something worth scrutinizing, it seems fair to say.
Yeah, Julie, if you're an investor or if you're an executive at DraftKings, I mean, you're clearly not having a good day. This comes after Hindenburg dropped bombs on Nikola and Lordstown, and those reports ultimately proved correct. But the problem here, I think off the bat with the DraftKings, they have become very public facing. I mean, they've signed deals with Giselle Buncham. I probably spelling her or saying her name wrong. Tom Brady's wife, the UFC, Michael Jordan. So they have taken their good reputation and tried to spin it into future business opportunities. And it's unclear how this report damages those relationships, or if it does. You know, also in the Hindenburg report, which I also think is very interesting, they're noting that insiders have dumped over $1.4 billion in stock since going public just over a year ago. Also, that the stock is priced for perfection, 20 times forward sales multiple, despite no near-term expectation of earnings and significant regulatory hurdles in the budding sports betting market. Miles, not a good look.
All I'll say is that this is a big target for Hindenburg to go after, and I think it differs greatly from Nikola and Lordstown, which are companies that I think if you have eyes and ears, you can look at and glance through their filings and say, boy, this seems like a real stretch. DraftKings is a lot different brand, much bigger company, a lot more entrenched in a lot of growth areas that investors are very excited about. And so I'll be interested to see sort of what comes of DraftKings' inevitable and required response, I think, to these allegations, and what future reports Hindenburg puts out. A lot of short sellers won't just come out with one of these. There are often a series of follow-on reports as they continue digging through the company. Perhaps people who know things are incentivized by the existence of this report to flag them to Hindenburg or others as we go forward here. So again, I think to me, just what stands out is that this is a big swing from Hindenburg and a lot different than I think, sort of the Nikola or Lordstown situations.
Yeah, one more comment, just digging through this one. It's an extensive read. Hindenburg also saying, quote, the front company that masks DraftKings dealings in black markets and connections to money laundering and organized crime. That's pretty damning accusation here. And I would suspect, obviously, DraftKings will respond once they figure out how to respond to something like this. But you also have to give a shout out to the folks at Hindenburg. I mean, these are deeply researched reports. They're very extensive. It's clear they're not developing this stuff. They didn't do this last week. They're putting a lot of resources behind targeting companies like this. And so far, at least over the past year, their success rate has been pretty darn good.
I just want to mention, too, as I'm going through this more, that a lot of what Hindenburg is alleging are the bad actions on the part of this company are in one of its units, which is called BTI CoreTech. And a lot of it is also occurring offshore. And so you wonder if this runs afoul of U.S. Sort of bribery and money laundering laws when you look at the international businesses. Who knows? Again, we don't know whether these allegations are true, but it also raises the question of whether DraftKings would be able to separate itself from a more problematic business, because it does seem like it is a unit of the company that's at the center of much of these allegations. Just one example that the Hindenburg gives is that an Asia-focused site tied to a triad kingpin at the center of a Swiss money laundering investigation advertises its use of BTI CoreTech technology. So then you get into knowledge beforehand? Does the company know who it's dealing with? Does it matter? Et cetera. So still a lot of questions coming out of this and related to this that this raises. But certainly it looks like at the moment, Draftkings shareholders are selling now and looking for those answers later. So we will keep you posted on this. We will let you know if we do get any response from the company. As Brian said, we are out to the company, and so we'll keep you posted on all of this.